Okay, guys, Friday evening, T-34s. Back to do some T-34s, and a little disappointed in what I had to do because I had this great idea of how I was going to trim these things up. So, for those of you that weren't around when I was doing the other T-34s, I have a metric crap ton of these to do. I probably have maybe 15 more to do, maybe more than that. And one of the problems with them is that these are old models. These are really old models. And I actually have a before and after to show you here. These are Hinchcliffe, which are part of the Skytrex family. And these are old. These are probably from the 80s. I don't know. But regardless, the whole machine gun is welded onto the hull with a piece of flash, with a thick piece of flash. And it is a bear to get off. You have to put a whole lot of strength on it to get it off. And I got it off on two of them. You can see here. So I had this idea as, I've got a Dremel-like tool. But the problem with using that Dremel-like tool, it spins too fast for this. I don't necessarily need something that's extremely fast spinning. I just don't want to carve it with an X-Acto knife because it takes forever and you're putting a lot of pressure on it. Getting really tired doing something that just shouldn't be that difficult. But so I was going to attach to my drill. I figured I could take one of those mandrels and attach something from the Dremel-like tool. It's not a Dremel brand tool. It's something that my wife picked up many years ago at a garage sale for like really, really cheap, like $10 or something like that. So I've got these mandrels. I can just attach it on there. But the key that goes on the drill is like nowhere to be found. I don't know where the hell it is. You know that one that's got teeth on one end so you can switch the bit out? It's like gone. So there goes the ball game. I was looking for it. So now I got to go tomorrow and get another key for it. So hopefully the key doesn't cost more than a new drill bit, than a whole other drill. Hey, John Peter. So that's what I was going to do. I was going to go ahead and drill these things out with the mandrel, and then I could do like 4 of them at once. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So we are going to work on some T-34s, and these are all Model 41 T-34s. And we're going to clean these guys up. We've cleaned up 2 of them. I just need to check. I don't know why they're cleaned up and I moved on to something else, but these 2 are cleaned up, and I want to see if the other ones are going to be a problem. I got new blades, but the blades are a 2nd or 3rd tier brand, so I'm sure they're not going to cut into that really well. But before I do anything else, I just realized I didn't take my contacts out, so I can see great at a distance, but I can't see anything close up, and the reader's just not close enough. So just give me 1 second, and I will be right back, and in nearsighted mode. Okay, How many vehicles do I plan on doing? All of them. I have about 70 more to go. I'm just guessing. And then we can start from scratch. So I'm on a tear. I just finished my 62nd one since the beginning of October. So I'm doing really good. And I'm doing them because I don't need them all for a game. I'm doing them because I have them. So everybody's like, wow, if you're playing such a skirmish game, why do you use so many tanks? Well, what am I going to do with them? Sell them? Nobody wants these things. Selling them involves like going to the mail, putting them in the mail. I don't want to go to the mail. So we're going to build them all. Let's just make sure that this thing is okay. And this is soft metal. It probably has a high percentile of lead in it. I got these in an estate sale. I was planning on only getting a few, and then, well, they didn't want them either. So, otherwise I would have gotten them in 1/72nd scale. These are actually 1/76th. But these are pretty poor. These are really pretty poor models because not only are they rough, the way these tracks attach. Man, this thing is really low today. I wonder why it's really okay. When these tracks attach and you epoxy this in, the only part it's actually sticking on is this place and this place. That's the only place it's attaching. Even though it's attaching along the entire side, it doesn't touch back here, it doesn't touch here. It's just really weird. It's very archaic. Five units of each type. Yeah, you're probably right. I could use a bunch of T-34s, but I have them. I had like 8 models of the 1941. I had like 8 or 9 of this model. I had 8 or 9 of the 42 model, so like the one that had the Mickey Mouse turret. And I had like 5 of the Chelyabinsk. That's just the 76 millimeter ones. Then I got 8 T-34-85s. I got so many to do, I don't have to be super picky how I'm going to paint them with the writing on the turret, because I'll be able to do plenty of them. Might even do some winter ones, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Okay, so there's that. Now, these aren't official X-Acto knife blades, but I'll tell you what, the tips last longer than the X-Acto knife blades. That sounds really weird, but this one hasn't broken, and it may break right now. But I've actually done quite a bit of it with it before it broke. Just trying to take that cable off. The half of it's missing anyways in the cast. I'm fine with the cable being there, but not when half of it's disappeared. Just doesn't make any sense for it to be on then. But I much prefer to work with plastic for the vehicles. It's just a lot easier to drill and all that kind of stuff. So. And I got these about $4 or $5 a piece. So that's why I have so many. Even though there's better stuff out there. Okay, this is a chassis that is paintable now at this point. All right. This is the other one. And do the same thing with the cable here. And I could use this many if the rules actually allowed me to use that many in a game. I mean, it would just drag on a long time. But we got some Soviet tank crews coming in plastic. In soft plastic. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna take a look at them, and if they don't look like if they're gonna be too bendy, I'll just return them. That's why I got them on Amazon. But I need some dismounts. You know, when a tank gets knocked out, I need some folks that running around with a pistol. Be like that one movie that I saw. They go into hand-to-hand combat with another German tank crew. Back in the day, we bought whatever we could find, so some 72, some 76, so on. If I found tanks on the right scale, a decision needed to be made, which I never did. Yep, I have both scales. And I have 187 scuffs, too. They're just plain pieces, so I don't have a problem with it. Doesn't bother me any. All right. Where was I? Taking this off. This is the easy part too. It's taking that machine gun off. It's a pain. I said I'll have to go to the hardware store and get a key for the drill, because it just takes forever to dig into it. Okay, it should be good enough. Yeah, I got stuff that I've had for 20 years. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm just going to paint it. What's the worst thing that can happen? It's the wrong scale, but it still looks good. You could have the flip side of the coin. You go through all that effort and then have and then play a set of rules that have no detail. No thanks. No thank you. I posted several pictures on several of the news groups about my armored cars when I finished them. And the question that kept coming up, they're like, is that for Flames of War? It's like, I guess people don't know that there's other rule sets other than Flames of War. Or they'll always try to convert you. Oh, you should play this with them. How about I play whatever the hell I want with them? I don't try to convert other people. I'm perfectly happy with the rules I play. You know, I'd play something else if there was something else that was like that, but it's just way too generic. And I'm sorry, my time period of playing generic abstract games is over. I'm not going back to doing that kind of stuff. You know, all spearmen are the same crap. That's over. I should have never even been playing stuff that generic to begin with. I've had some good games, but it just doesn't interest me to go out and motivate me to build another army if they behave the same. So I'm going to give Lion Rampant a try in about a month. Again, I've played it before, and it's got some good stuff to it. And then probably just modify it from there. 90% of your stuff is painted. You need to motivate me into finishing the rest. But I've heard that once everything is painted, you die. Well, you can buy more stuff. Just get closer to the end. You know, some people have too much stuff. And then it just becomes like, I can't think. I can't think if there's that many things. Like, I want to get some buildings, right? But I have some. And they're not the ones I want to paint, the ones I have. But I'm going to paint them because they're not Russian front buildings. I'm going to paint them because I'm not going to buy more buildings with some that I haven't painted. I just think that that's just a slippery slope. And sometimes when I get too many things, I just like don't know what to do next, so I don't do any of them. I know that's how I am. So I don't want to piss money away. Especially these days where everything is just stupid. I'll tell you what that's different about this year. I have zero motivation to go out to eat at places. It's everything seems like it's a problem half the time. You know, it's either too expensive or it comes out wrong or bad service or... That's fine. I don't need to be spending money on restaurants anyways. I used to be somebody like, you know, I'd go out 100 times and there might be an issue 1 out of 100. 5 years ago. Oh, this one's about to break. We better leave that one alone. How it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 5, 6. So we'll see how many of these we clean up. We'll have to glue them, then we'll go take them to outside to spray them. So we'll have an intermission. It's early though. It feels like it's late, but man, it's early. It's just after 7 o'clock, so we should be able to get quite a bit done. Okay, so this is tracks for 3 vehicles. So where's the third hole? Here. Ugh. I dread doing this. Let's see how bad it is. All right, then I found a trick. Okay, so this is really weird what I'm about to say. These blades are a lot stronger than the regular X-Acto blades. That's really fucked up thing to say. And I know they're ching chang chung blades. Really piss poor. That's really, really strange. I can't even believe it. Okay. Hey, Nordic. Playing with some communists now. All my Germans are Nazis, and all my Russians are communist. All my little toy armies. John Peter, are you on this side of the pond or on the other side? You in Canada? Or are you in The old country. Why tell you about playing with communists in public? That they always have to lose? Unless they're fighting fascists, then they can lose too. You're in Germany. You fly to Canada in May. Okay. Yeah, we just got done with some German armored cars, and I got air recognition flags I didn't put on there permanently because I don't want to put pictures of them on the internet. They could get other people that look at them in trouble. And they could get me into having to explain things or getting demonetized just for, you know, showing them on there. So we'll just avoid that altogether. They make a nice aiming point, you know. I will prepare the 175 15mm AWI I've left to paint while watching this. Okay, well, I'm going to be on. Dude, it's early. It's super early. And this is going a lot better than happened. So I had this idea. You were here last time, I'm pretty sure, when I was cutting these things off, and it was just being a bear. And I'm like, I could just use the drill, you know, a regular, you know, like a drill, like a hand drill for the house, and just change the mandrel and just cut through there real slowly. And I can't find the freaking, that tooth thing that goes on the end of the drill that, you know, it's got teeth on one side where you can tighten the bit or loosen it. I don't know where it is. That's the thing I hate about tools, is like, they're not there when you need them. And it's like, man, I'm not that careless. You see how my stuff is. I mean, you know, I'm not the messiest person in the world, and still couldn't find it. So now I got to go to the store and get one. But I wanted to do 4 of these at once. And I didn't think I was going to be able to, because cutting that was just a nightmare last time. It just took out a lot of me. I've already been through a work day and already went on the exercise bike, so I'm pretty worn out. But this seems to be okay with these blades. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's working better than the X-Acto blades. And the only reason I'm doing this is there's a cable that's molded on there, and 2/3 of it's mismolded and not even there. I would be fine if it was there. It's just, you can't have just a small portion of it there. It's not going to make sense. Your tool, and then you can't find the tool you need. Yeah, it's really annoying, because I'm not a disorganized person. And then you have a bunch of shit you don't need, like anything you buy that's like the hang up. You know, you got extra stuff. Let's keep all the extra hangers. You're never going to use those effing things. I should just go in there and just throw all those things out. You know, stuff you're never going to use, but you don't throw away. You have that, but what you need, you don't have. Hopefully that little thing doesn't cost more than another drill. It's not a bad drill. It's like a Skill brand drill. You know, like Skill Saw, but it's like a Skill drill. Just a basic drill. I figured, I could probably do this really slowly. Oh well. What are you going to do? It's the kind of shit that happens to everybody. in the past, this being scraped up has not been noticeable on other tanks. So hopefully that still stays to be the case. That still is the case. Of course, we're going to airbrush the primer, so maybe it won't work in that case. Because it's a lot thinner. Okay, I think that one's good to go. What do we have, the running gear for that one as well? Okay. And okay, let's do a fourth one. If you put on a regular drill, you know, you can get a drill to spin really slow, like, you know, it doesn't need fast speed. You just need to be able to get in there. A lot of flash on these things. Lots of flash. Stuff to clean the miniatures. They should have come to you clean. Bad castings. What are they, blue? I think they're Blue Moon, you said. Blue Moon miniatures. Flash ahoy. So if I do this one, I think I still have 4 more of these to do. Maybe 3, something like that. Well, we were supposed to get rain today and we didn't get any rain. I think I'm going to go wash the car this weekend. It's just covered in a layer of yellow. X-Acto blade and metal file. Yeah. You shouldn't be using a metal file on 15s. That's just a poor job of casting. But you said there was a lot of miscasts on those Blue Moons. I'm surprised because Blue Moons are relatively new. I can see if these things have a lot of flash. I mean, these molds are probably, you know, ancient. But Blue Moon's a relatively new company. I like some of their figures, and some of their figures I don't. I have the ones I have I do like, but I look at some other ones and I'm like, man, that's an odd pose to have that guy in. Apparently, get rid of flash. Yeah, Blue Moon have lots of miscasts, especially with the feet. Supposed to get snow here. Bastard. Lucky bastard. We're supposed to get swamp ass, and we got it. This thing. Commandeered. Can't say I've used these drills, These very much doing the 15s though. It snowed today. That's rare for us. Might snow twice a year. That's strange. You don't get a lot of snow in Germany. I guess it depends where in Germany. I think you said you were near Holland, so it's probably really wet there. I just want cooler temperatures. I don't want to shovel anything. I got the vacuum cleaner in here. I got a filing mess here. Is this the fourth one? Yeah, okay, so we'll do 4. We're not gonna do 5. We'll do 4. We'll do 2 with the turret open and 2 without the turret open. The turret hatch open. You're making a deal with yourself. Order 10 mil Napoleonic War troops for the 1809 campaign after I finish the remaining 175th AWI. There you go. It rains for a week, then it snows for a bit, then back to rain. If the sun comes out, you go for a walk. Oh, dreary, huh? I don't do dreary well. What month is it? March? So you really shouldn't even have winter camouflage on vehicles in 1945 in that part of the world. You're near the Ruhr, aren't you? Or you're north of that? And don't need any snow camouflage. Just cover it in mud. You're north of the Ruhr, if I remember correctly. I tried watching, what's the name of that tank movie? Fury. A couple months ago. Again, I saw it in the movie theater. And the movie theater, I remember the only thing I didn't like is the ending. I watched it again, there's so much I didn't like. The only thing I remember liking actually was they had destroyed wrecks of the different vehicles, like at the beginning of it, like you could see their silhouettes, and they did a really good job of making them look like the different vehicles that they were. But other than that, I thought it was just garbage. Only need snow camo when you're on tour. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe this blade has lasted this long. And that's what this is right here. Nico Pro, improved design, high carbon steel. It doesn't mean anything. The paper will, it'll say whatever the hell you write on it. But this was like 120 of them for like $9 or something like that on Amazon. Think, what's the worst thing that can happen? I throw away $9. was saying yesterday, I'm ready to watch Generation War again. I thought of all the war movies that have come out recently, that's my favorite. I really like that one. Actually, it's Generation War, that Forgotten Battle that Nordic recommended, and that 1944 that Mitch recommended, which is the worst title ever. I thought that one was pretty good. Why are X-Acto blades so expensive in the US? Walmart used to sell $1 replacement packs, but now you can't find them anywhere around, and if you do, they're like $6 for 5 blades. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. Stop advertising. I mean, I know a lot of their costs go in advertising. Just stop advertising. Like if Coke and Pepsi just said, you know what, we're not going to advertise anymore. We're going to make a deal. You think their sales are going to drop? I don't think so. They're really expensive, and I'm like, it's not that I can't afford them, but you know, when you can save in an area, you save in an area. You know, I'm not going to buy like real X-Acto knife blades, but then like, oh, well, I got to use craft paint. You know, you got to pick where you. Got to shop smart, regardless of your income. But yeah, X-Acto knife blades, yeah, like you said, they're really expensive. Why? Dude, this one's better. It hasn't broken yet. I thought for sure that's the first thing that was going to happen is the end was going to break. They do on X-Acto knives. And it's really not that big of a deal most of the time, but... I was looking for the reviews of them. I figured I can buy them cheaper on Amazon, but I'm going to end up getting knockoffs, which happened with real razor blades, which me one time. They even came in the right packaging, but it was not the right product. I figured, well, if I'm going to order something that's not going to be Chinese, I'm going to get Chinese anyways, why don't I just order the Chinese one to begin with? And yeah, these things are pretty solid. Okay, I think this one's done. Let's see if we can get in here and maybe take some of this off. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy this thing hasn't broken yet. I mean, if I tried to break it, I could break it, but that's not the point. But everything's expensive now. And I didn't vote for that shit, just so you know. And the cost of living adjustment this last year was stupid. How much it went up. And then, you know, the thing is things are more expensive and they're worse quality. Because at least like, okay, well, at least they're the same quality, right? Because you got to pay people more money. You know, I get it, you know. But no, they're just like crappier quality. Like, so I'm paying more money for a worse service and a worse product. got a recession from hell coming around the corner. That wouldn't. Some of us would not mind that at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want people out of jobs. I just want people that suck at their jobs to be unemployed. That's how my dad raised me. If you gotta do your job right. If not, they'll fire you. Oh, that's 20th century thinking. It feels good to do your job right. You don't need to work for a slave owner, you know, but you shouldn't be able to get away with being sorry. That goes for everybody, anywhere on the food chain. Oh, there's one more over here. We're not doing you. Four is a plenty. Okay, so cutting the machine gun wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. Good. I've done it enough times before. I'm like, man, my fingers end up getting... tired of doing it. All right. I better vacuum this up before it gets really out of control. And we're probably going to have to do it again. All right, let me find my glasses so I can find the vacuum. Should I prepare all 175 miniatures or just a portion of them? That's overwhelming, man. You know that. It's more efficient to do all 175 at once if you don't get burned out in the process, and you're going to get burned out. That's like, you know, I can't get all the vehicles ready. I can't even get all the T-34s ready. You need a breathing time to do something in between, you know, mix it up a little bit. You know, maybe do... You know, however many stands you got, you know, 4 stands worth or something like that. So when you go to pay them, it's a reasonable number. I get overwhelmed if I got too many things going on, and the next thing you know, I don't do anything. Alberto, you're up late, I guess. You were up like super late yesterday, so. All right. The hulls are done, the tracks are done. We're going to take this one and these 2 tracks for the 5th one. We're not doing 5. Okay, turrets, 1, 2, 3, 4. They can go in 1 or 2 packs, so 30 to 60, with enough thing for you to bash paint. I would do 30 then. Don't, you know, at least you get to, you're still doing all the work, but you get to take a break between them, and it's not as monotonous. That's just me, you know. I try to do everything I can to avoid getting burned out, because that's bad, like, you know. You lose your motivation, you know. You're not going to get a whole lot done. All right. This one's already been grounded on. Perfect. Two of them should be that way. And here's the other one. All right, so these two are fresh. Oh, this has very little flash right here. Amazing. So these are normally like $15. They actually don't make these anymore. I got them for, I don't think I paid more than $5 each. And at the end, they're just like, they just threw everything in. And what's amazing of it is that everything made a complete tank. That's crazy, because there was some that obviously were still packaged up, and there were some that were just thrown in a box. And I went through, well, the other day, I'm pretty sure it's on video, and I made sets of everything. Couldn't believe it. Still don't believe it. Even after I did it, it's pretty amazing. We are going to drill out the barrels on these a little bit. I actually think that's fun to do. Makes a big difference with 1/35th scale stuff, having a drilled out barrel. Okay. And these are all Stalingrad manufactured T-34s. And you can tell because the front of the chin here juts out at an angle. It's not flat, it's out at an angle. And that's an STZ T-34. Stalingrad Tractor Works. Should probably paint one of these, like, not even painted. I don't know that I'm going to do anything inside Stalingrad proper. And some things just don't look right, even though they're realistic. Like those German tanks at the late of the war, where they were just mostly that primer, that red primer color, like almost like a boxcar red. That just looks like ass. That just looks terrible. This is where we have a problem. One of these has a hatch. Came with a hatch from the earlier T-34. Well, we're going to punt that problem on down the road. We're not going to deal with that with any of these. These will all have the correct one. I don't know if you've heard Nordic, I've got some Soviet tank crews coming in. They're not AB or anything. They're plastic. And I didn't get the AB ones because the plastic ones actually come with dismounted folks as well. Because when you knock one of these things out and they bail, you need to represent the folks that have bailed. So you need figures for them. I mean, I don't need 4 for every vehicle because some of these bastards are going to roast in there. You know, it's not like everybody's going to escape. So, you know, if I've got, I don't know, 10 tanks, just to use a round number, I probably only need crews for 5 of them. It's a commie roast. Okay, these hatches are done. 4 of them will be open, 4 of them will be closed. Those things, we got some fuel tanks, cool. We got some crew members, which look kind of basic, but they actually are all right. You know, they painted up okay. Look at it this way. If I prepare 60 of them at a time, that means I have 0 wait time to start more miniatures. But painting, okay. Good night, John Peter. Yeah, it's pretty late up there. 1? I can't make it to 1 o'clock. Oh, this hatch is boogered up. All right, we'll make sure this is one of the closed ones. We'll make that one closed, and we'll make this one closed. And these two will be open. Now, how open will it be? Well, we got to have this clown holding on to it. Let's say we glued it like this. It needs to be damn near vertical. Okay, that's cool. We'll glue those two vertical, and then two crew members. Okay, they have little flags in their hands, by the way. What the hell is this over here? Oh, that's the old hatch. Okay, perfect. Fuel tanks, not worried about fuel tanks at this moment. I think I have everything that I need to glue on. I'm going to go ahead and, just for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and drill the turrets, the gun barrels. Let's go ahead and just get it over with. Let's see what's sitting in this, if it's too big. No, should be all right. All right, let's get a pilot hole going with the X-Acto blade that has a point still on it, and put something here for it to grab into. And you don't have to go very deep. That's perfect. Perfect. It just adds a little something. You can't do it on every vehicle. Some vehicles, the barrel is just too flimsy. And we'll find the center hole. Put a little divot there for this thing to grab. I did take all my Chinese drill bits and threw them away the other day. Now, I'm going to warn you, I'm going to have to take a recess, because I got to spray these guys. And we're not doing that in here. But it shouldn't take more, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe. I also want to stop working on this and work on something else, but that just seems stupid. Okay, there's that. And let's go ahead and drill the machine guns as well. Make sure it's fully. I be here. I'll wash the figures while you spray yours. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to make it as quick as I can. At some point, I could see probably spraying in here, because this is really not very messy. The part that's messy is when I go to clean the airbrush. I don't want to get one of those little things you spray into. I just freaking spray into, into the garage floor. It's really, I'm 3 feet off the, none of it's staining anything. It's just easier not have to fool with that. But it works pretty well, man. I'm pretty happy with Iwata. It's not that it's that good, it's that all the other airbrushes are that shitty. Alright, let's put the divot on there just so we don't have a problem. Slip on me. I mind this is a little deeper because somewhere to get a purchase on. You spray. I did as well, and then I realized, man, this is going to make a mess. I try to work it so I don't have any left over. And, you know, obviously I'm spraying the thinner, or the Jesus juice, as somebody called it. I watched this video when I had the first airbrush that was a POS. I'm like, I'm going to make sure this thing doesn't jam. I'll make me some Jesus juice. And I still have it. And that's what I've been using, and it works pretty well. Of course, I'm not really thinning the paints at all. I'm not using it to thin paints. I'm taking that primer right out of the bottle. It's going straight in there in the same proportion, same consistency. Putting the PSI up to probably about 50. You know, it'll drop as I use it, but somewhere between 40 and 50 seems to run pretty good. And when you're done cleaning it, it leaves like a film, almost like I was going to say café con leche, but you don't know what that is. An espresso with that leaves like the milk scum on the top. It's kind of like that. You just have to wipe that down with a little paper towel. It's done, you know. All right, we can clean this up right here. All right. There was a little bit of this still missed that I didn't take off, so I don't know if it would even be that noticeable, but I noticed it now, so I had one guy that messaged me today. He says, "Hey, I've been watching your Saturday morning videos for a long time." I'm like, dude, where you been, man? Just say a word. Just, you know, say you want to talk about, you know, KV2s or something like that. I don't know. Don't be shy. I don't mind carrying a conversation, but give me some ammunition. This is just rough. It's just very rough. You know, I'd take one of these fenders off if I had that drill thing. I don't want to take a fender off. That's a pain in the ass. That's a pain in the ass. All right. It is time for epoxy. And we're going to need a shit ton of it. Now, the good news is, since the last time I epoxied a shit ton, I cut the ends off. So this is a lot easier. It comes out a lot easier than it did before. So But remember, like I mentioned, the gluing spots on this are really, really weird. Because when you put this running gear here, it only glues on these spots. It doesn't glue anywhere on the edges here or nothing. It doesn't even touch. It's just so strange. So, anyhow, let's get the epoxy going. Let's flip it. Yeah, this is nice and hard. Let's flip it to this side so it's easy to identify where it is. Let's do that much. I've had this stuff so long. I've had it 15 years and used it, and I may be half done with it. So I definitely recommend this brand. This is DevCon 5mm, 5 minute, 5 mil, 5 minute. Just what they had at the hardware store. I did not want to use the tube that you squeeze both of them out at the same time, like a double-barreled syringe. Those don't work worth a damn. You set up the battles of Ligny and Quatre Bras and Napoleon's Last Gamble. I never got into the Napoleonic Wars. I'll play them, unlike ACW, especially if there's Austrians. I like me some Austrians. Unlike the Germans, unlike Nazis, the French make a terrible enemy. They just don't, they just not, I just can't take them serious enough. I don't know. I mean, if they made an Indiana Jones movie, instead of Nazis, they had Frenchmen, wouldn't really work. Marcus, oh, I'm glad you made it. Hey, those M10s look great with the breech. But I don't know, I've kind of soured on Armor Fast because a little too fast, not enough armor, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've come close to buying those Panzer 4Ds several times because they do have the little ammo thing in the back. For Barbarossa, of course. Well, for the desert too. That was the first Mark IVs they had out there. They had Ds and Es. But the first ones went out there they had some Ds with them. But you got to add so many things to it, including like the jack and stuff. That's just really, really weird. You know what? I'm going to do something innovative. Not really. I'm gonna go ahead and stand them up, and that'll help, hopefully, so that they glue straight. It's actually putting more pressure on the spots where you can glue on, so I should hold it in place. Not too bad to spice them up. Will be quite a project. Yeah, well, American stuff is boring, in my opinion, but you can customize it because they're like very Gypsy Caravan, a lot of the stuff. So they can each of them have. I really enjoyed working on the Shermans, and I did them first on purpose because I figured, Shermans, yeah, they're boring. Everybody thinks they're boring. Well, you can make boring stuff not boring, depending on what you do with it. Kind of like what we're doing with these T-34s. I think the T-34s are kind of exciting. They're a boring tank. They don't live long enough to be exciting. All right, we'll do the same thing with this one. I'm going to set this one on its happy tracks. Nice CT-34s again. Going to do one with the winter pattern you mentioned some time ago? I think so. I don't think I'm gonna put it on a winter thing, but I think I'm gonna do the winter one. I think I'll make one of these command ones the winter one. It's just too sexy. It's just absolutely beautiful. Oh shit! There's my warning. Why'd my screen go thing? Because I don't have a producer who forgot to tell me, hey, dumbass, when you do go online, go ahead and plug your system in. There we go. We plugged in? Yep. Okay, there we go. Draw the point areas of large battles, characters involved, most importantly, uniforms. Yeah, I find the uniforms too close to each other. You know, the piping and stuff is different, but I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. Like, I don't mind playing it, but it's not something I'm like dying to read the history of, if that makes any sense. That's the difference. Maybe I just feel I got so much to learn that I wouldn't even know where to begin. Well, I know a lot more than most people, but that's not saying anything. I mean, I did take history for all of my electives in college, so it's not like I'm clueless. But as a war gamer of the Napoleonic period, yeah, I don't know shit, you know. I don't know shit. As a war gamer of the period. I mean, reading history is all fine and dandy, but I want to participate in it. You participate in learning about the uniforms, painting troops, and pushing them around on the battlefield. Or you could do reenactment and suffer wearing wool in the summer. No thanks. Oop. Everybody should be using a needle for applying epoxy. It's so much easier, and you clean it up and you reuse it again. And we'll put this one on its tracks. And the epoxy is actually forgiving. You can wait until it's fully dry and move it a little bit. All right, let's add a... 2 of these are going to be closed shut, and 2 of them are going to be open. I hope we didn't wait too long. I think we can make this work. I'm worried about the open ones. We're going to make that one open, and we're going to make this one open. All right, come on, don't die on me yet. Might have just died on me. Come on. We wanted this one open, right? So it's less visible. And then these we can just use super glue for this. That's what I did with the other ones. The closed ones, I just super glued them. It's a lot more precise. Just have to go up a little bit on the edge. Same thing with this one. Relatively new to the period myself. I've been a fan afar, but definitely it's a learning experience, and I like that challenge. The reason I get excited about WI is that the reenactment for it, my area is right in the epicenter of the conflict with a whole lot of important things going on here. Hey, I don't blame you for that. I went to go visit what was it, St. Simon's Island, and there was a battle there. I think it was called the Battle of the Bloody Marsh, and next thing I know, I wanted to get figures for it. I did look to see who made them, and you'd have to get 7 years' war figures, and just pretend they were for an earlier period. It's close in period, but they're not quite exactly. It's the War of Austrian Succession, or War of Jenkins' Ears, it's called here. As I mentioned, we are going to have to take a little bit of a break because I need to spray these guys, but I'll be back. The good news is I'll spray them and I'll be able to paint. I'll be able to roll right into painting them. And then we're definitely going to have to stop when we get to the Nuln Oil phase. We'll have to pick that up in the morning. Okay, and this guy should be able to drop just like that. Why won't you sit all the way in? Damn communist quality control. I don't see a problem there, all right? Put it in there first. There we go. My favorite version of T-34 tank is this turret with the wheels that have no rubber on them. I think it looks sweet. I don't know what it is about it, but it looks sweet. Now let's see how this looks with one of these clowns leaning on there. Yeah. And he will be glued in place. We're just not going to do that right now because we want to paint him separately. Mills, East Philadelphia, 90 miles southwest New York City. Bells hit my birth town from the British when they occupied Philadelphia. The Hessians were taken in the war were housed in the area because of the heavy German pop here. Indeed. Do you have some good German restaurants there? By the way, next Friday, girls are going to be gone. I'm not going to go out on St. Patrick's Day alone, so we're going to have a Tony St. Patrick's Day edition of painting with whiskey. We're going to have a little bit as we go. You know, if I have too much, I just won't care. I'll tell, jokes, and I'll be funny, and, At least I think I'll be funny. I will think. Okay, So these two guys, I'm going to go ahead and super glue them on a penny. Can they stand up well enough alone? Or are they all like weirdish? Alright, let's grab a couple pennies. Boop, boop. Just a lot of prep work you gotta do to get all these things to fall into place, but jeez. You like that placement. Product placement, whiskey? I never do anything for St. Patrick's Day. It just always seems like it falls on the wrong day of the thing. I got nothing against the Irish. They're my people's allies. Traditionally, I got an Irish army. Man, I love those guys. Those guys are awesome. I wonder how they'll do in Lion Rampant. Wrong one. We gotta use this one. We'll see. I look forward to trying that with the DBA armies. And what'll be cool is there's probably not a lot of videos of people doing Lion Rampant in 15 mil. So we got to figure out what we're doing though first. You don't want to do a video. Hey, here's us doing this game. Why are you getting everything wrong? Because I'm a noob. Leave me alone. Damn it. I think we're going to have to resort to epoxying these guys in place. All right. Let's mix another little batch. Little batch. Is there anything else that we need that needs to be epoxy that we didn't epoxy? Yeah, the barrels. So let me wait to do this. We definitely are going to epoxy that. We definitely need to figure out what we're going to do for the gas things on there. Okay. Let's see what we did on the earlier ones. I've painted one of these before. Let me wash up and get this stuff off me. Whiskey Friday, yeah. It's all good. You know, I go to Mitch's house. I don't remember last time I went over there and had a drink at all. And I gotta drive back. I get sleepy. I gotta work the next day. Not necessary. Early T-34s. Here she is. Let's see what she has on her. She's barren. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. She's barren. Okay. Oh, I got a problem. I don't have enough bushes to do these. Of the one flavor. I could probably get by. I'm going to have to order some. Wow. And I'm afraid that they're not going to be the right color. Well, I guess we're going to have to do it. All right, so that's going to be... I'm going to make my to-do list here. Bushes. Light bulb. Sorry, that's non-related stuff. What else did I needed to get? Key for drill. Shit, I'm gonna have to do work this weekend. All right. Let's look at some T-34 Model 41s. Let's get the real mouse out, not this mouse pad, which I'm not a fan of. We can put this thing away. I just wanted to see it's barren. And let's see what examples they have. Man, the computer got small. That's one thing. If I have my contacts in and put on readers, right? My computer looks 50% bigger, or 25% bigger, than with just contacts. If I put on my progressives, the computer looks small. Looks like I got like an 11-inch screen instead of I guess this is a 15. Okay, let's open up a window. Let's go T-34, model 1941. Okay, and while we're doing that, let's grab my T-34 book. Books. And see if there's anything inspirational there. Okay. Let's start with the old Squadron Signal publication. Let me go back to the screen that we're all on here. Squadron Signal publication. Okay, that's an early one, meaning a 1941. There's a 1941 here. See, that has the more busy hatch on the top. Man, I gotta move it the opposite way of where I see it. That's weird. This hatch up here. It's more complicated. That's the model 1941. Which honestly looks better, but hey, I don't get to design the tank. Okay, here's a model 41 in a marsh. No fuel tanks. No fuel tanks. No fuel tanks. Okay, here's a 42 with the fuel boxes on the back, but that's not what we have here. Okay, so not a big push to have fuel tanks on these, and the color plates that are in the middle show only one with this weird camouflage that I'm not a fan of with no fuel tanks. Okay. Now, the Osprey T-34 76 book. And then we're still going to look online, but first of all, any color plates with them on here? Well, here's the model, and it has some fuel tanks here. It has two. Here's one captured by the eye ties up here. See, that one has, see, this looks good. This has all steel road wheels, no rubber on them at all. And that's a 41. Now, here's an interesting picture. Look at this model right here. This is a model 1941, says Separate Tank Brigade Autumn 41. You see these boxes that are on the side here? That is actually filled with dirt. So these are extra boxes that had extra dirt on them for like to help, you know, soften the blow. Interesting. So no fuel tanks, just dirt. All right, let's go to the black and white picture and see if they give you any here. Just because you kind of get a, you know, you get kind of an understanding what proportion should I have with them with fuel tanks. I mean, you might as well look at the stuff before you do it instead of afterwards. Like, man, I really wish I would have done them a certain way. Fuel tanks don't seem to be really prominent on most of these tanks. Here's another one. No fuel tanks at all. No boxes of dirt. Okay, well, not a strong argument for having more than one of the tanks have fuel tanks on it. One of these four. That's what I use this stuff for, just kind of make a decision, you know. All right, so let's go to the internet now. And we pulled up pictures of T-34 Model 41 images. And it looks like the Tamiya one has fuel boxes on it. Which I don't mind the look of them, actually. There's another one with fuel boxes. This one's off a website that's called the Online Tank Museum. It's got a lot of color stuff on it. No, just give me the standard T-34. Oh, this has this beautiful winter one. Okay, so the beautiful winter one has no fuel tanks at all on it. Okay, and I'm gonna make that one a command one. So one of these two is gonna be the winter one. I'm actually gonna go ahead and save this picture if I don't already have it saved. Save image. Yep. All right. So this one's going to be as is. As is. Good to go. No fuel tanks. Then here's another one with the fuel boxes, two of the fuel boxes. Okay, so this one's not going to have any. We're going to do this one with fuel boxes. We're going to do this one with fuel boxes. And then we're going to do this one with cans. Okay, so let's throw two cans here so we remember. Let's go grab the fuel boxes. The fuel boxes are in the leftover parts from the other T-34s that I built, which should be in the other T-34 box, maybe? Got some here. One, two, three, four. Okay, so two fuel boxes there, two fuel boxes there. We're going to put a log on there. No logs on one of these. Two logs on this one. And I have a surprise. As soon as I can find it. fit. Oh look, I found the other pair of glasses. Perfect. I wish this couch wasn't here. It ends up catching everything. A convenient catch-all. But I have had to sleep here while I'm sick. And it's actually pretty comfortable. Okay. Let's not disconnect that, which will disconnect the camera. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull this thing out. Alright, I'm going to take this stuff. Well, we'll put it in a second. It's just going to be in my way. I have a couple of old T-34s that the tracks are rubbish and I'm not going to build. But because I have them, I got extra parts that came off of them, including some of those dirt boxes. Soviet stuff in there. I think that's what I was looking for. Let's take this. Take this. There's still a lot of T-34s left. All 85, and there's 8 of them. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Let's move this stuff to the side. This is kind of fun, just figuring out how to make them all different. Keep them from being generic. All right, we got some cables here that we can attach to one of them. I may think about doing that, but honestly, the sprue isn't worth a shit anymore. All right, we've got some fuel things here too. Just use these fuel ones instead of the lead ones. Okay, we'll leave them out. We'll leave the cables, and we got these little tarps and shit. So we'll leave them out. We'll use all that. Yeah, this is the model of the T-34s that I had. I bought them on eBay a long time ago, and they're the ones that have a little cupola on them, which is like after Kursk. And I think they were missing tracks or something like that. There was a problem with them. I don't remember exactly what the hell it was. Okay. This is all Soviet stuff. Let's get the Soviet stuff out. We got German shit in here, but we got Soviet stuff. This is German stuff. And then this one is German stuff. Alright, let's see what we got here. Put that out of the way. We got a tank commander here, which we glued one of these guys, but we're gonna this is one of the guys we'll use with some of the Mickey Mouse hatches, not these early ones. I built one of them. He should paint okay. He's hard plastic. He should do fine. What do we got here? Well, here's some Soviet commanders from the Plastic Soldier Company. I went ahead and put them in there. Oh, and here's a couple more tank commanders of the that have the later hatch one of the other tanks that I built. Okay, cool. We don't need any of those right this second. Let's see what we got here. We got some extra pieces of track. All right, let's cut all this stuff out. Man, it's so early. All right, here's one of these dirt boxes. Now you can tell that this thing's dull now. And they just fit on the side like this. Just add an extra protection. I'm not sure how many I have. I bet I have 2, 1 for each tank. Of course, if I just have 1, I have 1. Whoop-de-doo, you know. Let's take these little packs. Okay, we can clean them up later. Okay, we're done with this. Nah, I don't need that sprue right now. Got a couple shovels. Extra track links. Extra shovels, track links. Do I have just one dirt box? I have just one dirt box. Strange. Okay, well, I have one dirt box. Here's the cable for it. I feel like I don't want to mess with that. Here's another couple little packs. Oh shit, I got a lot of them. Yeah, I do want to mess with it. Okay. It's Tony time. There you are. Well, I could use these plastic ones, or I could use the white metal ones. The plastic ones certainly would be easier to... We'll use the white metal ones. We'll use the white metal ones. And I'm going to do something I didn't do on the past on the other one. Well, I'll tell you what, we may put the cables on them, but we're going to do it afterwards. And we may put the spare track, we'll do it afterwards. Let's not overcomplicate this, and then you get into analysis paralysis and so forth. All right. So we're going to put a dirt box on one of these. We're going to put it on the Commander here. Dirt bag with a dirt box. I'm going to go ahead and switch this out. And they actually give you like a little clear thing. You just pull up here and take one of them off. I can't believe I wore out a blade and the tip didn't break. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Decided to prepare 40. Not enough clean. Okay. Oh. Hey, you're the one in charge. You can do whatever the hell you want. Let me look at these instructions that came with these T-34 bits. We'll go ahead and do that. We got them here. Let's see where the hell they say to put these shovels and stuff. Okay, they have the dirt box coming over here. Alright, so we're going to put it right there. It has a little hatch on it. Doesn't say. I would imagine the hatch is towards the top. Otherwise, you got a problem on your hands. Shovels go on the opposite side. This one's got barrels and fuel boxes, and that's a lot of commitment. It has them one on top of each other, but then in this one it doesn't even show it. I'm going to leave those tools off. Alright. Why does it feel? It does feel later than it is. It really does. You and I must be smoking the same stuff, Nordic. Which of course means nothing at all. Yeah, it does feel late. Oh shit, I made a boo-boo. Let's put this blade back. I gotta mess with some more white metal stuff. This is going to be the super special one. Let's take this off. I wanted the new blade for the plastic stuff. Let's take these big chunks off. Still going to take the file to it. Maybe I'll just quit before, at the time that I go spray, you know. That'll probably be a good time to do it anyways. 'Cause I'm adding all this extra stuff to it, so yeah, making them different, personalizing a little bit. I'm not worried about, you know, if I look at, you know, the decals or something for a vehicle, I'm not worried about painting the decals of that vehicle necessarily that match with, you know, that it has fuel boxes or something on that particular vehicle. That's just, I'd have to spend too much upfront time. And I've seen decals of different tanks that are obviously a different tank, but yet they have multiple different configurations of them. So one thing I didn't do before is I didn't take these little rivets off, and it caused this thing to not be able to sit on it evenly. So I'm going to go ahead and take these little rivets off, so now this sits flush on there, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll leave that top rivet, it still shows. I don't know what it is about these blades, but they sure work better than the X-Acto blades on the white metal. Go figure. Which is the one that we want to use? We want to use this one. It's flattish. Okay. And the worst thing about filing some of this stuff down is, and this isn't necessarily an example of that situation, but you sometimes these little small parts you have to take a file or sandpaper to. There's nothing to hold on to while you do that. So sometimes you're not able to sand them. You have to kind of just scrape them off with the X-Acto knife. That one's done. Go to this one now. Hey, the Secret game should be posted this weekend. Okay. Do you know, so I asked somebody if I had how many pre-registers you could do for the convention, and they told me 3. If that's the case, I've already used up my 3, because Saturday I'm playing, oh, you don't know this. Saturday I'm going to play Lion Rampant all day Saturday with Jim Riley. So I've played Lion Rampant before and liked it, and I suspect that if I have a good experience with it, I'll probably pick up the rules and try doing that with our 15mm DBA ironies and see how that works. As I've enjoyed it before, it's got a really good push your luck mechanism. You know, with shooting and everything, and I think that might be okay. Actually was thinking about doing that at some point, and then I saw that Jim Riley posted a big Crusades extravaganza on all day Saturday. So all day Saturday, he's running 3 games of that. So that's what I'm planning on doing on Saturday. And he always runs great games. But I'll check out the Secret games and see if when they're listed on there. These bits are done for that one. On that command one, we got this one with the 2 tanks. The 2 tanks with a ton of flash. Give me some other ones that don't. Geez, that one's got a huge protrusion of flash. You said you were going to run one of the Secret games? I don't have anything planned on Friday, so hopefully it's on Friday. I don't want to do anything the first session. I want to just carefully look at the wares. Okay, this one, get out of here. That's secondary importance. Okay, one will go there. You got to make sure that these little spigots are facing towards the top, or you'll have a fuel leak. Okay, does this one fit okay there? Yeah. Okay, let's carefully move it over here. We'll worry about the logs in a second. I said I'm going to worry about the logs in a second. Oh, man. Happy Friday. It's Friday now. You know, I've been very unproductive tonight and very productive at the same time. You know, I haven't gotten much done, but at the same time I have. These things take time. Can you range estimate with Secret 5? Not that I would want to. I'd rather have all my teeth pulled. I've done that. That's too much like work. And it's really unrealistic because what we used to do is we used to do range estimate, and if you range estimated, then you would just roll for the guns that were at that range. So, you know, one of the turrets would, whatever the rate of fire on the turret, and you'd roll to hit that. So there's a good chance that we wouldn't do an automatic hit or anything like that. But what's really strange is when you get really close, you get into like a 16 to 24 inch range, and it's actually kind of difficult to hit people. So it's actually easier to hit people longer, farther away than it is, you know, in the teens. And so you basically have a weapon that's, you know, shoots just as good as far away as it does up close, and that's kind of counterintuitive. But if you told me I had to range estimate and play on the floor, I'd tell you go get lost. There's no way I'm doing that again. It's not worth it. We did that one time for 26 hours straight. We had a 26-hour-long Sea Creek battle. That's definitely the record of the longest game we ever played. We weren't bored for a second. It was excellent. Okay, this guy's ready. All right, so I'm not going to worry about those cables, those bendy things. I can do that later if I need to. This is the command tank. It's going to have this thing here. Okay, we can go right over it, can't we? Yeah, we can do that. Okay, and this is going to have these two, the fuel boxes glued back here. Okay, and we're going to put a log on this side. This one will be barren and won't have anything on it because it's just going to be beautiful. Okay, this one we don't need the plastic fuel boxes. This one's going to have the fuel boxes over here. Will you stop falling down? We'll put you on later. This is going to have the two fuel boxes. And since this one has the log on this side, this one's going to have the log on this side. Okay, and we're going to put one of these packs No, go back to switching the one I had before. That's the old one that we used for lead. This is the one I just pulled down to use for plastique. Okay, and this one's going to have pack up here somewhere. I could put it on the fender. Okay. We're not going to put any logs on that one, and no logs on this one. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. What if we did this over here? Nah, we'll leave it be. We'll save these. We got lots of other tanks these can go on. It's not like these can only go on T-34s. Okay, so we've got these two guys to epoxy. Nothing on this one. This one's completely done. All right, let's hop to it. I guess I should vacuum again. Mix this up a batch. How much do we need? These two guys, 2 fuel tanks. We're going to glue the things that are least incorrigible first. Okay, the most incorrigible thing are the 2 figures because they're literally balancing. Okay, she's done completely. Do we have a little box for her to take out there? Yeah. She's done. This is not very incorrigible. Yeah, we don't want none of that shit on there, but. Okay, and she's done. Yeah, see, I'd much rather use weld cement. Weld cement doesn't work really well on white metal. Okay. And we'll take this log here. Okay. And I know somebody who would put little tie-ins. I ain't got time for that. That's a nice thought, but I don't need to be on that medication. Okay, we're going to glue this little guy in here somewhere. Oh, I should have put that lower. There, we'll just move that down. All right, we'll put that there. Log goes on this side. I'm going to turn it a little bit so it doesn't look exactly like that one, because it is exactly the same casting. Okay. And then we're going to need fuel boxes here. And some fuel boxes here. A fuel box. Okay. And one here. And one here. Okay. And we're just going to glue this guy like that. Glue this guy like this. Okay. And the same thing over here. This one actually looks really interesting. There's a lot going on with it. There's a lot to like on this thing. Just like Sherman's. No reason to have a boring tank. Okay. And this one goes like this. And this one goes over here. Okay. And now we can glue these two clowns in. Okay. Clown 1 and Clown 2. I hate using epoxy, but they're top heavy in the wrong way, so need something a little thicker to have them stay attached where they're supposed to be. Now the tank commanders that are coming tomorrow, there's none of them that actually work with this type of turret. And I kind of thought about that already in advance. So doing these now isn't really going to affect that. Yeah, so varied appearance. And you know, we're not going to paint these like they're all one unit because that's boring. Good Lord, these are heavy. We're not going to airbrush those. We're not going to airbrush the figures. We can just hand paint them. But we are going to use the Vallejo surface primer for this. And this is what they're going to look like. This is going to be the one that has the gray camouflage on it. And it's going to have a commander in there. We're not going to put it on snow terrain though. You know, it's not going to be really white. It's going to look like, you know, gray and bluish. So I think it'll be okay. Maybe I'll change my mind and not do that one just yet. So, but yeah, I like how these look with the fuel boxes. Honestly, they look really sleek. They look really sleek. Anyhow, I think that's it. I'm going to just sign off. We're going to let these dry up, and go to the garage and spray them, and then I'm probably going to call it a night. And we'll see you guys back here in the morning, where we will be dry brushing these guys green, and ending with the Agrax Earthshade step. So this will be this weekend's project, is these T-34s. So I think I should be able to get all 4 of them done by the weekend, but if I don't, I don't. It's not really like we're in a hurry or anything. So, but anyhow, thanks for hanging with me. We'll see you guys in the morning,